Now that we have our tower all glued up, we're going to let that dry and move on to cutting the 15mm PVC pipe. So there's only 3 pieces per tower to cut in the 15mm pipe. 50mm, 1325mm and 65mm. So you don't see any of this, so there's no need to clean it up or anything like that. So we'll just mark out, we'll cut the big ones first. 1325mm. You can cut this on the drop saw. I find it a lot easier just to cut it with my pipe cutters. Next one is 50mm. And because this doesn't remove any material, because it slices it, I can mark both straight away. So 115mm. So it's 50mm and another piece is 65mm. Obviously, if you were chopping this on a drop saw, you couldn't mark both at once, because when you take the blade thickness out, the next one's going to be shorter. But because this doesn't remove any material, it's fine to do. Okay, there is our 3 pieces. Now we have to drill out the spigots on our tower. Okay, now this should be dry now. I'll take it out of its clamps. It's probably been sitting for an hour and a half now. Now we're going to get a bit of wood out from inside. This is why we need to make it nice and loose, because once everything's pressed on, alright, there's a block of wood out. Now we have a glued up tower, but we haven't drilled out any of the holes. So we need to get 44mm hole saw. Now this fits perfectly inside the pipe. So it's not tight, but it's not too loose either, just the way I like it. So this is probably, I'd say, one of the more tricky parts. Definitely have the drill on reverse. If it's forward, it just bites too much. And be careful of the angle that you have the drill, because it's very easy to drill up into the edges of the spigot. It's one of those things, maybe the first 1 or 2 might be difficult, but then you'll get the hang of it and it's easy after that. Now, as far as holding this, I have a little trestle table that I like to put it on. Makes it a little bit easier to hold and drill, and I don't have to worry about stabilizing it while I'm drilling or bending and twisting. So I'll set that up and then we'll get some drilling done. Alright, now I've got my little trestle table out. It's just one of the winding clamp style ones. Put 2 of the pins in at this end, and that's to stop the whole thing sliding along. So I just put it in, leave a little gap for the spigots to sit in, and push it up to the end so it won't slide along. My drill, 44mm hole saw. Make sure there's no drill bit in there. You don't need the drill bit because it's actually supported by the inside of the pipe itself. So you don't need a center drill bit in there. and make sure it's on reverse. Just get it in the hole first, lined up so it's nice and square. You can sort of see a tiny little gap all around the edge. You can tell whether you're going off square. And then with not too much pressure, you need a little bit because you're in reverse, but not too much pressure, and medium speed, you can drill through. And there you go. Pull your little plug out, and you can lift it and go to the next side. Be careful not pushing too hard, because when it does break through, it does drop to the other side, so you don't want to drill back through the back of the actual pipe. Okay, that's them all drilled out. Hope you can see that. Now, one of the other things, sometimes there's a few little burrs inside, like that. You can go through, and sometimes I get, haven't left it out, I've got a little chisel, and I just use the edge of the chisel and I'll just run it around the inside and clean up any of the little burrs that are left. Like that, just of the plastic. Yep. And essentially, that's that part of the project finished. Next bit, we actually start putting it together. So let's get on with that. So with the 15mm PVC pipe, there's just one more piece we have to cut, which is the support rail that's going to go across the bottom inside the bucket to stop the tower from tipping over. So that's going to be 255mm long. So we cut that at 255. Then on that piece, we've got to mark in 82mm from one end, 82mm from the other end, and that should leave us with about 91mm in the centre. Now, if you've got one of these, we're not cutting this off, we're just putting a cut into the actual plastic, probably about 1/3 the way through. Yeah, so we're only cutting about 1/3 the way through on both sides of those marks at 82mm each. Now those cuts, we're going to heat this up in a minute. I'm going to squeeze this slightly, and it's going to make the two sections where the cuts are ovalized, and when we squeeze it, it's actually going to open up the two cuts. So they're going to open, and when we push it through our holes here, when those cuts line up with the 90mm PVC pipe, they're going to click into place because it's going to be slightly bigger than the hole because we've squeezed it and made it oval. And that's going to actually lock that bit of PVC pipe across the bottom. But just make sure you don't put that in until we've slid the lid on, because once this is in, it's quite hard to get out. So next, we're going to get our end cap. We're going to put that on. Now there's no glue on any of this, so give it a tap so it's on nice and tight. Then we're going to get one of our elbows, push that on nice and hard. So now we've got end cap on one end, elbow on the other end. Then I'm going to get my drill and the 5mm drill bit. Now with this laying on the table, because the elbow is already on it, it's going to give us 90 degrees. So we're going to get just right towards the bottom of the cap, but not too close. And we're going to drill straight through. So through both sides, so it's coming out the other side. Then we're going to get the pipe and we're going to drill 90 degrees. So the first one went through there, we're going to turn it 90 degrees. We can use our elbow at the other end to sort of give us a guide. It's not super crucial, but so there we go. Now we've got 4 holes drilled at the top, that way, right the way through. And that's the riser that's going to go inside the pipe. We need to get the 65mm pipe. Push the threaded end into that. And then get the elbow and push that. So we've got the threaded end, 65mm pipe and an elbow. That just leaves this little joiner. Now you can cut this on a drop saw or you can cut it with the cutters. What we're trying to do with this is we just want to cut a little ring off the end of it. So I tend to push it onto some pipe, a bit of scrap pipe, and then probably about 5mm, doesn't have to be exact, but you just want to cut a little ring off the end. So now we've got this little ring on here. Let's try that again. And this is just going to be a guiding ring. There we go. That's probably like 1 centimetre. So then we get the little 50mm piece. We're going to push the little guide ring over that and then press that into our end. I'll just turn it around so the square ends out. So that we're going to put a tiny drop of glue on this a little bit later when we put it together, but you'll see why that little ring is there. Next I'll get the heat gun set up and we'll warm up our stabilizer bar. So where the actual cut is, there probably will be a little bit of burning because of the sharp edges are exposed to quite hot. So again, be careful because this will get hot. So now it's got a little bit soft. I'm not going to use my fingers, but I can give that a little bit of a squash. You don't want to change, you still want it straight. But you can see now that that's stepping up and down, and the little cut is opening up slightly. Alright, do it to the other side. I'm just pulling open slightly, just stretching the PVC and then blowing on it, and it'll just set a little bit. Okay, so now it's still a bit warm, but you can see when I try and put this through the hole, it's actually getting stuck there. So it'll actually take a bit of force to press that through the hole. Same on the other side. The other side's not as bad, but it's still catching on that little bit there. Okay, so next we need our bucket. Where did I put the bucket? Here's our bucket. We need our big hole saw, and we do need the drill bit in this one. So I'm going to take off that one. Okay. So this is a 92mm hole saw. Alright, on the top of the bucket, from the moulding of the lid, you can see there's a little mark right where the centre is. So what we want to try and do is line the drill bit up with that mark and gently, slowly drill. That's all it took. Very easy. It's quite soft plastic, this. Now I'm going to put the bucket on the ground. Actually no, I should be able to do it here. It's easier if you put the bucket on the ground. You can hold it between your legs. Okay, again, I'll do this one in reverse. Now you want this as clean a cut as possible because you don't want any slopping around. If you wobble round, you're going to make the hole bigger than the pipe, and then it might be a bit wobbly. So we want to try and make this one as clean as possible. I'm going to do it in reverse. I have done this forward, but again, this is a brand new drill bit. I only use it for this purpose, so the teeth are very, very sharp and aggressive. So I'm only going to do this one in reverse. That's it. Now the plastic's actually melted a bit on this, so be careful when you grab that off. The plastic around the edge is hard melted plastic. And on the bird, a lovely hole in that now. Okay, we've got our pipe. It's nice fit over. We've got our supporting bar, and the other side was easier, so I'm going to push that one through first, and then you hopefully hear a click on this one as that lines up and that lines up. So there we go. Now you can see that is nice and stuck in there. So that wedges across the bottom of the bucket. fit? Nope. As you can see there. So it goes in to the bucket, wedges across the bottom, and the lid goes on. Excellent. Okay. Now, before I spoke to you about this little 25mm bit of pipe, you just want to cut off 10mm or so, just a little ring. Now I've already glued this one on, and you just glue the ring with the same PVC pipe that we glued the spigots on, just in the center of the lid. And that is to hold the support pipe. So inside, when this goes inside, that is going to sit inside there, like that, and stop the top from wiggling around. So now we get our razor bar, and we put it inside. And we get the other piece we put together, and we can press that in. Nice and tight. So that's how it comes out. Now that little ring that we put on there, what we're going to do is it's actually going to sit over the edge of the bit of PVC pipe, and we're going to glue it on either side, so it actually, there's a tiny thickness of the pipe, and it's going to sit there and it holds the pipe in the middle. Now it's not crucial this, the pump isn't going to move in there, so it's not a vital part, so if you don't want to do it, that's fine, but I find it just clips in there nicely and yeah, stops everything moving around. So, so next I'll get the pump out, and we'll get that done. And the other thing is the lid. Just push the lid on. Again, I don't use any glue. The less glue the better. None of these PVC pipes inside are glued together. That way you can take them apart if you want to clean it, get it out. There's no need for the glue, none of it leaks. It's not under any pressure. So then you can put your finger in the hole, and you line up the pipe into the actual lid, screw the lid on, and that's how it sits. So next I'll get the pump. Okay, so this is just a small pond pump. It says on this one that it only pumps up to 1.2 meters, even though our tower is 1.5. You do have a little bit of head of water here, so it's not that bigger, so it probably ends up 1.3, but there's heaps and heaps of water comes out of the pump this size. So this is the pump here. This is one I've had running for a while. It's a bit dirty, but that one's in its box, and I'll probably sell that one. So this one here, I'll show you how to put together. So we take the threaded end and just screw this in. Now if you buy a different brand pump and it's a different size, different height, that's fine. All you've got to do is just adjust the height of the 65mm piece of PVC to suit the height. So you can see here that the bottom of the pump is sitting flush with the bottom of the pipe, and when it all goes together, that'll be sitting there like that. So then just take that off there for now. I'm just going to turn it upside down, just give it a good push to make sure that lid's on nice and tight. So next I'm going to get rid of this table so we can see what we're doing, because I can't stand it on the table and the top hits the roof. and we'll put the last bit together and we're all done. Okay, now we can see a bit better. We've got it to this stage. The pipe's in. It sort of gets pinched between the bottom of the cut of the hole here and the lid. So there's the lid pushing it down, which holds it in place there. So all we have to do is get our pump, press our pump on, and then drop that into the bucket. Now on the bucket, on the edge, I think I've already done it on, no I haven't done it on this bucket. Good job. We need to put a little slot in the bucket just for the cable to come out. Okay, so I found the hacksaw. We're just going to put a little cut and another one just a little bit wider than what the cable will be. Then what I like to do is I fold it out, and you can either leave it just like that, there's nothing wrong with the cable just hanging over the edge there, or you can get your saw and you can just chop off the little tab. So now you've actually still got a round edge there from where you folded it out, because the cable's not sitting on anything sharp. So then we've got system goes in like that, cable, lid, and we're done. So as you can see, it's quite sturdy. The pipe is in the middle. Now normally you go and clip the lid on hard, but we're going to fill this up with water in a minute and turn it on and see how it goes. I'll give you a look on the inside in a second. Okay, let's get some water in this. Won't clip the lid on again. It's stable like that, so they're hard to get on and off sometimes, so I'll just leave it sitting like that. Alright, time to test. Plug it in. There we go, a little better I missed earlier. Obviously there's no plants in this, so the water does run quite aggressively down, but when you've got the plants in there. Now I'll just grab this and show you. It's the water. Now, because of the moulding shape, how it comes in here and out there, it actually pushes the water each time it hits another one over each one of the net cups that are going to be in there through one of the spigots. So you can see every face has water dripping directly down the front of each one. So there's no spots that get missed, and that's because of the moulding profile that it makes when we actually squash the PVC pipe. But I can't see any leaks on there, so I think we've done a brilliant job. Very happy with that. Okay, looking at this here, This one here does have a tiny leak. I don't know if you can see that when I pull it. I only left it for about an hour and a half before drilling out all these spigots, which is probably a bit quick. If you could leave it overnight, that's great. But it's really easy to fix. Once I dry this out, I'll just get the PVC cement pipe again, and I'll just put a little dribble down there, and it'll just fill the hole in. I might put a little clamp on for 5 minutes, and then that'll be fixed. But that's the only one out of all of them that I could see that's just come off a little bit. And being down there, it was probably the very last one that was put on. Okay, so the last thing you're going to need is a timer for the plug. So this is just an analog timer, really simple. It's just got the little pins, 15-minute increments. So you just set it to 15 minutes on, 15 minutes off, all the way around. And then obviously you plug this into the wall, plug your pump into this, and then this will turn the pump on and off every 15 minutes, which I've played around with different timings, and 15 minutes seems to be perfect. So that's the last thing you need as far as materials to get this going. So then after that, obviously you need to mix up your hydroponic solution to go inside. You need your net cups to go in here, and your plants. So keep watching, because I'm going to be making another video on how to do the hydroponic solution, and another video on planting out your net cups. Now there's two ways of doing it, the easy way and the hard way. I don't have a lot of time, so I tend to do it the easy way, but I'll explain all that in the next video. Thank you very much. And I almost forgot, please can you subscribe to my channel, as I want to make more and more of these sorts of things. Hit the like button and put a comment down. Let me know any improvements I can make, so yeah, I can make it easier for you to understand if I'm going too fast over things, or if there's a bit that you want me to redo in more detail, let me know and I'll happily do that and post another video. Thank you very much, and happy building.